Buongiorno everyone, welcome back to the Magpie Channel TV. Ooh, I'm looking a bit boned, a bit burnt there, fresh off the golf course. The sun is shining, it's absolutely roasting. To be fair, we're looking at about 25, 26 degrees today. It is a sweaty one in the tune, but this isn't a weather update. No, it's not. It's an expansion on St James's Park update, not usual ones that we've done in the past where we talk about the Gallagher extension. Obviously, we know what's going on there. Other things. This one is around the East Stand, the untouchable stand, as it was known for so long. But we're going to get into that in a minute with the Times. We're going to get into some Sandro Tonali latest transfer news. When's he signing? When's he going to be revealed? How's he feeling? Is he crying? That's what the Italian media are saying. But before we get into all that, please subscribe to the Magpie channel if you haven't already. Drop a thumbs up on this video if you enjoy it. And also, tomorrow, 5 PM, Sunday, for every Sunday coming up throughout this transfer window, I'll be doing a live show. So Sundays at 5 PM, get them in your diary. Get the bell next to the subscription notified. Get that on. Every Sunday at 5 PM, we'll be doing a 30-minute, 1-hour live show. Interact with you a lot in the chat. Talk about the latest Newcastle United transfer news and other things like this stadium expansion if there is other news to talk about. So that's one way to get you involved a bit more every week. So I'm going to try and stick to that. Sundays at 5. The first one will be tomorrow, so stay tuned for that one. Let's dive straight into it. We're going to look at what the Times, since it's in the title first, we'll look at what the Times have said about this new St James's Park expansion, which focuses on the East Stand, which is a surprise to everyone because, like I said before, you know, that was meant to be the stand that we couldn't upgrade, we couldn't extend, we couldn't increase the capacity on it because of the grade listed buildings behind it and all the architecture and all that sort of stuff. So it's been a bit of a sticky subject because it's been the same for so long. And when you look at St James's Park now and you see obviously the huge Leazes End with the glass features going around the Millburn, I've always dreamed, I was going to say you there, you maybe not, but I have, and I used to do this on the old LMA Manager back in the day. So shout out anyone that's ever played that one before. Increase it all the way around. You used to be able to do that on that game, increase your stadium and just the glass roof all the way around. Amazing, absolutely amazing it looks. So imagine if we could do that one day. Never seemed possible with this East Stand because the old Newcastle United, that sign on that stand, that whole thing has just been untouched for so many years. And you can tell because obviously it is still a lot smaller than the Millburn and the Leazes and then even the Gallagher. You know, even the Gallagher and stuff goes back further. So it's an interesting one. It's the one where it's really made sense to extend that one, to make it look better, to make it match the rest of the stadium. And because it's just logical. When you look at it, it looks like that would make the most sense, having it there, increasing it there, because it's tiny compared to the rest of the stadium. And you know, when you're sitting at the back of the East Stand, you don't feel that high up, but even when you're sitting at the back of the Gallagher, you still do feel high up. So let's have a look at what the Times had to say. They put this out late last night. They're exclusive on it. Or was it this morning? Can't remember. Been a bit of a blur of the day. Busy one at the golf course. And yeah, the Times reported that Newcastle United have learned that the possibility of increasing the capacity of the East Stand is now under serious discussion. Newcastle built the stand in 1972 and it is now dwarfed by the more recent extensions of the Millburn Stand and the Leazes End because of restrictions involving the listed Georgian buildings behind it on Leazes Terrace. So like I said, since the 70s, it's been like this. So, you know, 50, 60 years ago, that East Stand, untouched since then. And you can tell. Those buildings are grade 2 listed and a limit was put on the size of the stand when it was built because of issues regarding light. However, advancements in engineering and architecture mean there is the possibility of a redesign that would use more glasswork and allow extra light to go through the stand, potentially leading to a significant capacity increase. So let's just touch on that before we get on to the next bit about what the Times are saying. If you're going to use it, brilliant, because I was thinking, surely now, this day and age, the buildings that you see, obviously I used to live in Dubai, the buildings, the architecture over there is insane. The way how quickly they knock them up, how big they are, scary as hell from someone who doesn't like heights. But just the way that architecture works these days and the advancements in the technology, surely there's a way to get around the bloody adding a few thousand seats onto the East Stand, or putting like the glasswork in there, or doing something. There's got to be. We see some, you know, amazing pieces of architecture and buildings these days. Surely Newcastle United, with all the money now, can ask someone to come in and be like, right, how do we do this? Here's how much we're going to pay you. Get started. Surely we can get that done. And that's obviously an avenue that the club are looking at. The Times add that the club is looking at every possibility to extend the stadium, but that side of the ground has emerged as a better option instead of building at the Gallagher end, which has a road behind it and a metro station underneath. They are also keen to have fan zones around the stadium on match days, and that appears the most logical area on which to do it. So, are they saying that they're not going to extend the Gallagher now? The Times are kind of saying that, but for me, I think they would do both. I think we'll add a few thousand onto the East Stand and then really try and add a good 5,000-10,000 onto the Gallagher. These are saying that the target would be 62,000 with this increase at the East Stand and maybe a bit on the Gallagher. 62,000, still nowhere near the amount required for us passionate Geordies from Newcastle and abroad. So 62,000, a 10,000 increase on what is already a sellout stadium every single week, and a season ticket list that's about 30,000 deep, 30,000 or so people waiting for season tickets that could sell that. So we could literally have over an 80,000 seater stadium and it be sold out most match days, if not all. So that's mental, and that's an amazing way for the club to look at it, because that's how we're going to get around these FFP loopholes, match day revenue, kit deals, all this sort of stuff we've talked about before. If you're filling a stadium of that magnitude and you're making that much in ticket sales, then you can clean up. You can absolutely clean up on things like this. So that's what they're going to have to do. That's one way they're looking at it, and that's one way that really helps everyone, the supporters, the players on the pitch with the atmosphere, and then the club behind the scenes raking in the ticket sales and everything, and all the match day revenue on the old pies and pints. So they're talking about the East Stand there then. The Gallagher stand, they're saying, the fan zone's coming. Yes, we know the fan zone's coming in the Gallagher as well, and obviously there is issues with that road leading to the hospital and the metro and everything. All these things are going to have to be looked at by professionals, by architects. I'm not claiming to be one of them. I'm not going to say, right, we need to do this and this is how it's going to work and what. Not for me to say. Don't have a clue. But I tell you what, all the millionaires at the club now and the people in the right positions, your Eels, your Silverstones, everyone else behind the scenes. Caduce's actually got a degree in architecture. So these people are the ones who can work on it and have the money behind them to push on it. So once something comes out, if their plan's brilliant, we'll talk about it further. But the club is very much looking at increasing the East Stand now. They're looking at doing it with a bit of glass work, so it doesn't block out the light from them buildings. And can they even work with those buildings? Can they work with the council and the local park and stuff like that to ensure that we can move forward together and everyone realises it's the best choice for people in the region to be able to have more seats in St James's Park and make more money in the area and appease the local appetite for football. So we'll see how we get on with that one. That's what they've came out and said. Let me know in the comments for what you use, make the expansion plans. Could you see that one happening at the East Stand, the Gallagher? Anyone out there who's smart with it, drop your comments below of how it can be done, or what do you think? How do you think that'll go? And how many seats will the capacity increase at St James's Park? Let's move on to transfer news now then, and Sandro Tonali. Let's take the latest on him, where apparently he is broke down in tears when AC Milan told him they were selling him to Newcastle for £60 million. Broke down in tears apparently. Now the British press are all over this now, screenshots on your screen. The Italian press were talking about it yesterday, saying, Tonali doesn't want to leave, he's being forced out of the club, he's crying his eyes out, is he? Yeah, really upset, is he? What's going on? So, really upset. Oh no, I'm gonna have to get paid 150 grand a week to play in the Premier League. I can't believe it, I'm gutted. Bollocks. Absolute bollocks. What's Italian for bollocks? What is it? Let's have a look. Italian for bollocks. Let's have a look now. Italian for bollocks.
Cazzate. Cazzate. Cazzate.
Cazzate. Absolute cazzate. Bollocks. There's no way that Tonali is sitting there in Milan whinging his eyes out because he's about to come to a Champions League, Premier League team on big money. He's doubling his wages. 23 years old, come to live in sunny Newcastle. Look at the weather. Italian press, man, they're lunatics. They are absolute lunatics. They're just covering this absolute nonsense. There's no way. He might have been a little bit upset at first. Oh, really? Because he came out a year ago saying he would never leave, to be fair. He sees he's a Milanista. He's a local lad. He's a boyhood supporter. He wants to become captain of the club, following the footsteps of the legends, Maldini and everyone else. Fair enough, I get that. He might not want to leave at the start of this window. Maybe if you had asked him a month ago, he might have been like, nah, I'm happy here in Milan, just been to semi-finals of the Champions League, this is my team, this is my city, I'm good. But then, when the opportunity arises, you may think, oh, do you know what, it's actually go to Newcastle, best project in world football, richest club in the world, play in the Champions League, play with Bruno, Isaac, Paul Dummett. You know what I mean? These players, he wants to play with them. So there's that there where you think he's going to do it. He's going to make the move. And because the opportunities came up where AC Milan can make 70 million euros, they're obviously going to sell. He's obviously going to better his wealth, look after his future families, kids and everything. These things change. Listen, Shearer didn't want to leave Newcastle, but he came close to once or twice, mainly obviously due to manager feuds like Sir Ruud Gullit. Andy Carroll, to be fair, said that he didn't want to leave, but because Liverpool were the better side at the time, he did leave and Ashley wanted to sell, so it's a bit similar in that sense, but you know, it's not like Tonali's, the Wrexham, who've just been taken over and they've got loads of money, have said, oh, come play for us, we'll double your money, and he's thinking, oh, bloody hell, Wrexham though, it's only a little stadium, little league. He's coming to a Champions League team, he's coming to a Premier League side. I think he's doing alright. I don't think he'll be sitting there crying his eyes out because he has to come play at Newcastle. Absolute nonsense. Let's just see what they said then. So, and also, right, I've got to say this. There's no way that we sign this player if he doesn't want to come. Eddie Howe is so big on characters. It's the reason why we haven't signed certain players in the past already. We've, not signed individuals because they haven't matched the criteria of a hard work ethic, want to be here, right personality, a bit of charisma, passion, all these sort of things. They've got to tick these boxes to become a Newcastle United player under Eddie Howe and under our ownership. There's no way Dan Ashworth goes over to Milan, Steve Nixon and they sit down with Tonali and he's crying into his spaghetti. You know what I mean? And Ashworth's there thinking, oh, drinking his Moretti, and I'm thinking, I wish this was Moretti. Oh, he's a bit upset, that lad. I can tell he doesn't want to come. I tell you what, we're going to pull out this deal. Do you think he's going to sit there and go, well, this lad isn't 100% in, so we're not going to be 100% in? There's no way we go all out for this deal and pay 70 million euros if he's not all in on the deal, if Tonali's not totally sold on it. If it feels like he's getting forced, we would just move on. We'd go back in for Barella. We'd go in for someone else. There's a million midfielders we could get. Do you know what I mean? So it's not like it's just one or nothing. It's not like we'll have to go in for Tonali. If he wasn't interested and we could see he was upset, he didn't want to move, we'd be like, oh, do you know what it is? That's not going to suit us. That keep him. Obviously, he wants to move. We would be sure of that. Eddie Howe would not want a player in that dressing room that doesn't want to be there. That's why we've shifted other players out. That's why other players who have stayed, who are doing well, like Eddie Howe keeps on bigging up the likes of Lascelles, how good he is around the dressing room because his personality's right. He's not huffing and puffing about not being involved. If there was a player in there that didn't want to be there, they're not going to be there. And it's not going to be under Eddie Howe. So that is a big red flag, and how you know it's a load of crap as well. So it's thought Tonali was less than impressed with the news, as La Repubblica have reported that he was left emotional after being told he has to leave the club. The report claims that Tonali wanted to spend the rest of his career at his boyhood club, AC Milan. Never fancied the move. You know what I mean? Homesick. That's what he hoped not. It goes as far as to say that he hoped to emulate the success of Maldini. It also suggests that Newcastle will quadruple his salary to convince him to move to St James's Park. Bollocks. Casetta. Not true. It's just getting doubled. So it's not quadrupled at all. It doesn't actually say any more in it. It's just saying that basically, yeah, for some reason the Italian media put out that he's crying at the thought of leaving. Again, it's just because, to be fair, right, I'm calling them lunatics and that, the press and stuff, and the fans are so passionate over there, just like us, but the Italian fans are so passionate, the Milan fans are very passionate, and they don't want to see their player leave. It would be like if Shearer did leave us, it would cause outrage. It'd be like in the 80s when Gaza left and your Biadzi's left and stuff. Obviously people aren't happy. They're not going to be when you're selling your best players, especially if they are from the area. It means a lot more. But I think they're just trying to ease it. Maybe so Tonali can leave Milan airport safely. If they come out and he's smiling and laughing, thinking, I can't wait to leave, see you later. He's riding out there on an e-scooter straight to the airport. You know what I mean? You might get a bit of stick. And if we play them in Champions League, it's dangerous. But, if they come out and say that he's upset about leaving and this, that and the other, you'll get a bit more respect from them. It eases the tensions a bit between him and the club and the fan base, because obviously Milan fans aren't happy with the club selling him, even for the money. So I think it just eases everyone a bit, calms everyone down, softens the blow, and they can get on with it a bit easier. They say that he's so upset, he's crying, he's going to be making 150, 160 grand a week. Oh, nightmare for him. What a nightmare. Hey, try paying your gas and electric, mate. That's a real tearjerker. Anyways, that's it then. Let me know what you think in the comments below about the St James's Park expansion. Tonali in tears. not believing it. I think he'll sign in the next few days. Cheers for watching, everyone. Subscribe to the Magpie Channel TV, and I'll see you on the next one.